What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, and it is March Madness time. We got a bracket for y'all, and yeah, let's get on to it. All right, so we're gonna start with the South. We got Auburn versus the winner of Alabama State or SFU. We're gonna go with Alabama winning that game. We got Louisville versus Creighton. Now, this is the first game on Thursday. This is going to be a really good game. But I'm going to pick Louisville to win against Creighton. A lot of people are picking Creighton. It's going to be either way. It's going to be a 50-50. Next up, we got San Diego. UC San Diego versus Michigan. What's going on, Deadly? San Diego's pretty good. I see a lot of people saying that this could be an upset game. Well, Michigan's good because they just won the Big Ten. So I got Michigan winning that. Now here is my first upset. We got Texas A&M versus Yale. The last 2 years, the Ivy League came out of the first round. Princeton beat Arizona, and last year, Yale beat Auburn. You cannot go against the Ivy League. The Ivy League in the past couple years has been flawless. So I do believe that Yale can come up against Texas A&M and just play really good and beat them. But Texas A&M could also be good, but I haven't really seen them play as good. So we're going to keep it with Yale. Yale's going to upset Texas A&M and move on to play Michigan. We got Ole Miss going against the winner of San Diego State or North Carolina. If San Diego State beats North Carolina, then they will probably beat Ole Miss. But if North Carolina wins, then Ole Miss could actually move on to the second round. So I'm going to be playing it first. Let's see how the game is going for the first four. And I'm picking San Diego State to beat Ole Miss. We got Iowa State versus Lipscomb. I've never really heard of this team, so I am picking Iowa State to beat Lipscomb. Marquette versus New Mexico. I've seen how New Mexico has been playing basketball, and you can see that Marquette is the number 7. They're not a number 2 like they've been in the past, but I think New Mexico has been playing great ball recently, so I'm going to pick New Mexico to beat Marquette. We got Michigan State versus Bryant. A lot of people say that Bryant could upset Michigan State, but you cannot bet against Michigan State in March Madness. So I'm going to pick Michigan State. Going back up on top, Louisville versus Auburn. If Louisville gets a good start of the game, they could upset Auburn. But do you think that's going to happen with Broome on the team? No. Auburn moves on. Michigan versus Yale. Yale had a great game upsetting Texas A&M. They're playing against Michigan. Do you think that they're going to be a Cinderella team going against Michigan? No. Michigan, it will be moving on to play Auburn. We got San Diego State versus Iowa State. San Diego State had a good run of beating North Carolina, beating Ole Miss, and now playing against Iowa State. Do you think their streak is going to continue? No. But if they start playing good against Iowa State, they could be a Cinderella like UCLA was in 2021 and go into the Final Four. But I think Iowa State can take care of business and move on. We got New Mexico versus Michigan State. Michigan State has always been good in March Madness, so I'm going to take Michigan State. But if New Mexico can start playing good defense against Michigan State, they could be a Cinderella. Back on top, Auburn versus Mexico. I got Auburn winning over Mexico. Iowa State versus Michigan State. I got Michigan State beating Iowa State, but Iowa State could beat Michigan. That would be a well-performed game. For the Elite Eight, I got Michigan State going on. You might be thinking, oh, you're crazy for picking Michigan State. Well, it's that time of the year where Michigan State's going to be good, plowing into March Madness and heading to the Final Four. Let's go to the East now. We got Duke versus the winner of AU or Mount. I got Duke winning the first round because they're Duke. Like, when was the last time that they lost in the first round? Oh, like 10 years ago? Yeah, it's not going to happen again. Mississippi State versus Baylor. Now, Mississippi State is good, but also Baylor has had a lot of playing time in March Madness, so I'm going to Baylor. I think they can beat Mississippi State and continue their run to play against Duke. We got Oregon versus Liberty. A lot of people think that Oregon's a good basketball team. They are. The last couple of years, they made some good runs. Well, Liberty is coming out of the corner and playing really good basketball. And I feel like this could be another upset. I'm picking Liberty to upset Oregon. We got Arizona versus Akron. I think Akron could upset. I've been hearing a little bit of Akron magic in the air. Akron, I think Akron can beat Arizona. Yeah, Arizona is not falling for that. Arizona will win against Akron. BYU versus VCU. This is another good game. A lot of people are saying BYU is going to win. A lot of people are saying that VCU is coming with an upset. I agree with them. This is going to be a dogfight. Whoever wins this will likely play winner of this game. But who knows? VCU wins it. Wisconsin versus Montana. I got Wisconsin. They're a great team. Actually, yeah, they beat who did they beat? I think they beat Michigan State. I don't know. But they were in the finals. They played really good against Michigan. They almost won. It was a close game, but I feel like Wisconsin, with their good basketball and coaching, they're going to move on to the next round. St. Mary's versus Vanderbilt, a baseball team, which I love. I love Vanderbilt. They're a great baseball team for college. I wanted Wake Forest to be in it because they're also a good baseball school. But unfortunately, Vanderbilt is the only one in there. But St. Mary's has their recent knowledge of March Madness and know how to get out of the first round. So I got St. Mary's to win against Vanderbilt. But don't be clowning around against Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt could be good. Who knows? Alabama versus Robert Morris. I got Alabama moving on against Robert Morris. Going back up, Duke versus Baylor. Now, if Cooper Flagg doesn't play the first game, and Duke still wins and plays Baylor, he could be a little bit rusty, so this might be a close game. But I've been hearing that Cooper Flagg will be playing the first game, just depending. We'll see how Cooper Flagg is this week. But I still think Duke can get a job to go to the Sweet 16. Liberty versus Arizona. This could be a good matchup. But I'm taking Arizona to win to move on against Duke. We got VCU versus Wisconsin. See, in a couple of my brackets, I did VCU and Wisconsin because I know this is going to be a great game. But you know what? I'm going to take Wisconsin. But I know in one of my brackets, I had VCU going to the Sweet 16. But Wisconsin is going to go to the Sweet 16. But any of these teams can go to the Sweet 16. They're both good. St. Mary's versus Alabama. Alabama's on a tear. I think they can beat St. Mary's. I know St. Mary's is a team that kind of goes into the Sweet 16 and they kind of don't. But this year, they won't. Going back to Duke versus Arizona. Now, if Cooper does, for some reason, doesn't play this game and doesn't play this game, but he plays this game, he's going to be a little bit of rust. So, I'm going to play it smart and pick Arizona for an upset. I know, it's crazy. Duke being one of the best teams in the country, but I feel like Arizona can pop out in March Madness and become one of the best teams in March Madness to go to the Final Four. We got Wisconsin versus Alabama. Alabama. You can't go against Alabama in March. They're a really great team. I love March Madness when it comes. I don't like Alabama, but they're great. Grant Nelson, my boy from NDSU, and Sears. Whew. Oh man, that's a good team. Arizona versus Alabama. Taking Arizona. I want to see a good upset. I think Arizona can upset Alabama in the Elite Eight and head to the Final Four. Let's go to the bottom with the West. We got Florida versus Norfolk State. They're back. But I'm taking Florida. Being one of the best teams in the country, yeah, I'm taking UConn versus Oklahoma. UConn is in March Madness with back-to-back wins. I'm taking UConn. I haven't really seen much of Oklahoma, so I'm taking it the safe route and picking UConn to win it, and that's what I'm going to do. Memphis versus Colorado State. A lot of people are saying that Memphis is going to win and finally go into the next round. Well, unfortunately, they're playing Colorado State, and Colorado State has been on a tear, and a lot of people are saying that Colorado State could upset Memphis, which they will. Colorado State moves on to beat Memphis. We got Maryland versus Grand Canyon. Yeah, Grand Canyon had their run. They had their kind of Cinderella run. They upsetted teams. They were good the last couple of years. Well, you're going to get stumbled by Maryland because Maryland has been on a tear in basketball. They've been playing great in the Big Ten. They're a great number 4. I think they'll beat Grand Canyon and move on. We got Missouri versus Drake. This is going to be a great game. But I do believe that Drake's going to take care of business and finally get to play in March Madness and be good. And they're going to win the first round against Missouri. Now, Missouri is great, but if Drake plays better against Missouri, Drake is going to win. We got Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington. I got Texas Tech. They're great in March. They're great. Fantastic. I haven't really seen them since 2019, but they're back as a 3 seed, and they've been playing really good basketball. So I got Texas Tech. Kansas versus Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't have their coach, their famous coach for well-coached program, but Kansas still has their best player from last year and their coach, and I can feel like Kansas is going to be on another run for March Madness. So I'm taking Kansas to beat Arkansas. St. John's versus Omaha. Now, Omaha did not have a great record in the regular season. They were number 1 in the Summit League. But I think St. John's can get it done because they're in the Big East. And St. John's has just been playing great basketball. I'm going to take St. John's to win against Omaha. Going up, Florida versus UConn. Now, y'all might say, back to back to back for UConn. But Florida ain't going to slide. They're the best team in college basketball. I'm taking Florida to win and moving on to the Sweet 16. Colorado versus Maryland. A great Mountain West, I believe they're Mountain West, versus a Big Ten. This is going to be a great matchup, but I do believe that Maryland's going to get their job done and beat Colorado State and move on to play against Florida. We got Drake versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech. They're fantastic. I know Drake is very good, but I feel like Texas Tech will get on the run like they did in 2019 to get to the Final Four. So I got Texas to beat Drake. Now, St. John's and Kansas. 2 great schools. And Kansas want to get on like that tear like they did a couple of years ago, going into the Final Four. But you got to play against St. John's, and they are as good as UConn. St. John's move on because in the season, Kansas hasn't performed that well against good teams, and I just don't see Kansas beating St. John's. If this was Kansas 2 years ago playing St. John's this year, I would say Kansas would beat St. John's. But St. John's is very good, and they're going to beat Kansas. We got Florida versus Maryland. Florida is going to win and beat Maryland. They're going to be one of those 1 seeds that's going to carry down into the bracket to the Elite 8. We got Texas Tech, St. John's. Where are the upsets? I don't see any more upsets. You got one. You got another upset. Texas Tech playing very good basketball. I feel like they can beat St. John's and move on to play against Florida. It'll be a good game, though. But I feel like Texas Tech will win. And yeah, let's go into the Midwest. And have you seen any Cinderellas yet? Have you seen any Cinderella teams yet? I don't see any. You might think Texas Tech is a Cinderella. They're not. You might think VCU could be a Cinderella team, but we'll see how it goes. But let's go into the West. We got Houston versus Sue Edwardsville. Don't know who they are, but Houston is going to move on to the second round. We got Gonzaga versus Georgia. Georgia, a football team, going into the tournament. I haven't seen very good basketball. They're alright. But Gonzaga, they had some time in March Madness, and I know they're going to beat Gonzaga. I take Gonzaga to beat Georgia. Clemson versus McNeese. Now, you may say McNeese is a great team. They were kind of favorites to maybe upset Gonzaga last year. But they're playing against Clemson, a really good basketball school. They killed it last year. I got Clemson to move on to the next round. We got Purdue versus High Point. Now, Purdue, they're good, but they don't have that same energy and like chemical going into far in this tournament. I gotta say, High Point coming into this tournament feeling great, playing great basketball. I think High Point can get the job done, and beat Purdue. I know a lot of people are saying Purdue is great. They can beat High Point, but the last couple of years before last year, they haven't been great in March Madness. They've been losing like the first or second round. Yeah. Illinois versus winner of Texas/Xavier. Now, a lot of people are saying that Illinois is going to lose the first round. No, they're not. Whoever plays Illinois, like, I don't get, why is Texas in this? Like, their record is terrible. They have the worst record going into this tournament. Xavier, I mean, they played good basketball here and there, so yeah, understandable. But I think Boise should have been in there. Boise's a great. A lot of people are saying West Virginia, but I just don't see West Virginia being that good. But hey, Illinois is gonna take on whoever wins this and will win. So, Kentucky versus Troy. A lot of people are saying, Kentucky, where are you at? Why are you not making these crazy runs like you did in the past? Like, where are you at? Well, guess what? They're there. They're in this tournament with revenge. They're not going to stick around and get upset at all the damn time. They're going to come into this tournament and win games. I got Kentucky moving on against Troy. UCLA versus Utah State. Actually, let me go back to this one because I realized in the West I did not do that. I got Florida winning against Texas Tech. Sorry, I did not realize that. But yeah, all right. Perfect. UCLA versus Utah State. UCLA is a great basketball school. They've been going into like the Final Four in that 2021 run they had. They were great, fantastic. Well, you're going against Utah State, and they're a well-performed basketball school, well-coached. I feel like Utah State will get it done and beat UCLA, but who knows? This could be a good game. UCLA could win, or Utah, but you never know in March Madness. This is a great time of the year. We got Tennessee versus Wofford. Tennessee. Like, Tennessee is great at basketball. They're the best in the SEC. You can't go against Tennessee like that. Come on now. All right, going back up top. Now, earlier before I started this Midwest, I was talking about where are the Cinderellas? Where are they at? Well, you got one. Gonzaga will beat Houston. I know, it's shocking. It's like, wow, what are you doing? You're putting Gonzaga in this situation, beating Houston. I think they can do it. You know why? Because looking at everything, where are the now? Oh, wait! I don't think they got him anymore. Hold on. There's no Annales. I think they got rid of it. Damn, they actually did. They had a 79 of a rating, of an analysis rating. Create custom. Actually, yeah. Let's do all of it. Cause I gotta show you guys this. I know y'all are be like, oh, it's just stats. Stats don't really matter. Blah. But you know what? Here we go. They're a 70. Look at that. They were a 70. When I last checked, they were a 79. I don't know how they weren't, I don't know why they're a 70 now. They were a 79. But yeah, they're good. Gonzaga's going to be tearing with revenge with the analysis saying, oh, Gonzaga's not that great this year. They had some up and downs. But you know what? They're going to come in this tournament and say, hey, you know me? I was the number 1 seed, and you guys were saying great things about us, but we couldn't win in the Elite 8 or the Sweet 16 or the National Championship in 2021. So we're going to come in here as an 8 seed, and we're going to beat Houston. I got Gonzaga beating Houston. Clemson versus High Point. I got Clemson being a great basketball team beating High Point. Illinois versus Kentucky. I got Kentucky moving on because they're going on their demon run. They don't want to get upset. They don't want to do it. So Kentucky will beat Illinois. I know Illinois is a good basketball school, but Kentucky is going to be on that run. We got Utah State versus Tennessee. This is going to be actually a good game because Utah State is really good. But unfortunately, I cannot take the risk. Anything can happen. Utah State or Tennessee. Anybody. But I want to see that SEC showdown. Kentucky and Tennessee. I want to see that showdown again. I think that will be a really, really good game. Gonzaga versus Clemson. Now, this is going to be another tough game for Gonzaga. But I feel like they can still perform. They perform great with Houston. They perform great with Georgia. I think Gonzaga can win it all. I think. Who knows? But they're in the Elite 8. Kentucky, Tennessee. I got Kentucky beating Tennessee because they're still on their revenge tour. They're mad that they're getting upset a lot, and they just want to make it through. I got them moving on to play Gonzaga, and the winner of this game will be Gonzaga. On to the Final Four. The Final Four. We got Michigan State, Florida, Arizona, Gonzaga. You see all these analysis putting 1s, 2s, maybe 1, 3. But you know what? I got a 2, I got a 1, I got a 4, and I got an 8. I got a Cinderella team. I got a great basketball team that knows how to play in March Madness. I got Michigan State. I got Florida. This is a good Final Four. I want to see this Final Four. I don't want to see 1s or 2. I would, but I want to be a good enough bracket player and be smart about it and picking a good Cinderella team like Gonzaga, Arizona, Michigan State, Florida. But let's get on. Final Four. Florida versus Michigan State. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. But unfortunately, Florida is a great basketball school. I think they can get it to the championship easy. They're going to play against Michigan State. That's going to be a tough team to beat. But they're going to beat them. Arizona versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga being on a tear. Just rambling teams like Georgia, Houston, Clemson, Connecticut. They're all over the world saying, what a shocker. Cinderella? Question mark? They're going to beat Arizona as well. Florida versus Gonzaga. A great championship with great coaching and great players to watch. This is going to be a good game. I think Florida could beat Gonzaga, but I want to have a little fun with this and have my Gonzaga win because I am a Gonzaga fan. I'm not glazing. I'm just telling the facts. I'm coming out of stats, looking at comparisons, looking at how they do it in the season. I know Gonzaga hasn't done great. They did okay. I think they come into March Madness being champions of the NCAA college basketball. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit this like button and remember to subscribe. We got March Madness, the best time of the year. It's going to be a fantastic tournament. A whole new look of a bracket. This is going to be the hardest bracket that I've ever played. And we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully it is good. And yeah, let's get her on. Hope you guys enjoy. And we'll see y'all later. Yeet!